I want to start today with a subject, Zooey Zephyr. Remember that name? I may be saying it a bit different. Zooey Zephyr. I think it's Zooey Zephyr. She calls out Montana Republicans for attempting to kill democracy. Let me give the backstory. Zooey Zephyr is a transgender woman who was elected to the Montana legislature. Now, if you are elected, I don't care what the politics is of any particular body. This is a representative democracy. As a representative democracy, whomever is elected, a person that is in legal stature and elected, notice what I said now, because you don't want to, you can't elect a mass killer and expect that person in a legislature or Congress or whatever. But if you're a person in legal standing, following the laws, and you run for a position and you are elected, that voice belongs in that elected body. Okay, so Zooey Zephyr is a transgender woman who was elected to the Montana legislature. She was kicked out of the Montana legislature, similar to Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. And I spelled it legislator instead of legislature in the newsletter that I sent out. So forgive that thing. It was late at night. But CNN reported as follows. They said the following. CNN reports the following. Montana's Republican-dominated House voted Wednesday to ban Representative Zooey Zephyr, who had said GOP lawmakers would have blood on their hands for passing bills restricting transgender rights, and rallied protesters Monday after Speaker Matt Regier blocked her from being recognized to speak from the House chamber for the remainder of this year's legislative session. Under the disciplinary measure approved on a 68-32 vote Wednesday, Zephyr, the 34-year-old Democrat from Missoula, who last year became the first openly transgender woman elected to Montana's legislature, will be allowed to retain her seat and cast votes remotely. But she will not be able to participate in debates. The session is scheduled to end next week. Does something sound like separate but equal here? In other words, you're not going to be allowed in here. You offended us. You offend us. Your presence, your being, who you are, offends us. So even as your constituents sent you here, we don't want you here. And since we are a supermajority here in Montana, we are sending you flying. Get out of this house. We are sick of seeing you. That's pretty much what they're saying. That's pretty much what they're saying. They don't say it that graphically. Actions, we know, speak much better than words, guys. To finish the article, we have a week and a half left of the session, and we'll be covering important topics, housing bill, the state budgets, and every bill that goes forward for the remainder of this session. There will be 11,000 Montanans whose representative is missing, whose voices cannot be heard on those bills, Zephyr told CNN's Erin Burnett on Outfront later last night, that is. This is likely the most undemocratic act to date. I get it. Justin Jones and Justin Pearson were immediately sent back by hook or crook. But Zephyr will have to run behind a Zoom channel if she wants to see what's happening in the legislature. They have denied her the camaraderie with with the folks in the legislature. They have denied her the ability to operate in the best interest of the people in that thing. I want you guys to listen to this, because here's the deal, brothers and sisters. Here is the real deal. What she said in her speech, I guess just before they kicked her out. Any human being with morals, Any human being who cares about other human beings, any human being who cares about a dog would have been touched by what she said. And the fact that just about every Republican in the Montana legislature went ahead and said, goodbye, bye-bye, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. But anyway, folks, I want to play the Zooey clip. And the importance of this Zooey clip is it speaks not about Zooey, but anybody who listens to her words, not tune out her words. How could you still kick this woman out of the building? I want you to check this out.
Pay attention to the state legislatures. These are the front lines, end quote. That's how one Democrat put it today when just 2 weeks after Republicans in Tennessee voted to expel 2 black representatives, another Republican-led state legislature voted to kick out a Democrat who dissented. This is Montana State Representative Zooey Zephyr. She's a Democrat. The people of Montana House District 100, part of the city of Missoula, elected to represent them. Today, Republicans voted to bar her from the state House chamber for the rest of the current legislative session. The Republican playbook here is very similar to what we all watched in Tennessee. Her transgression, according to the Montana House Republicans, was breaking with decorum in the chamber. That's the thing these days. Zooey Zephyr is trans. She is Montana's first and only trans lawmaker. And last week, she said this to her Republican colleagues as they pushed a bill to restrict gender-affirming care for minors.
And the only thing I will say is if you vote yes on this bill and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands.
Republicans also accused Representative Zephyr of inciting demonstrators who'd assembled in the House gallery to support her. Again, very similar to what we saw in the Tennessee State House. And just a few hours ago, the Montana State House voted 68-32 along party lines to bar Representative Zephyr from entering the chamber for the rest of the legislative session. She can vote and attend sessions remotely. Speaking before the vote this afternoon, Representative Zephyr, who will join us in just a moment, defended her initial comments. She defended the right of her constituents to have their representative in the State House chamber, and she defended democracy itself.
Last week, I spoke on the governor's amendments to Senate Bill 99, which banned gender-affirming care. This was a bill that was one of many targeting the LGBTQ community in Montana. I have had friends who have taken their lives because of these bills. I have fielded calls from families in Montana, including one family whose trans teenager attempted to take her life while watching a hearing on one of the anti-trans bills. So when I rose up and said, there is blood on your hands, I was not being hyperbolic. I was speaking to the real consequences of the votes that we as legislators take in this body. And when the speaker asks me to apologize, what he is, on behalf of decorum, what he is really asking me to do is be silent when my community is facing bills that get us killed. He is asking me to be complicit in this legislature's eradication of our community, and I refuse to do so, and I will always refuse to do so. I would also say that if you use decorum to silence people who hold you accountable, then in the name of all you are doing is using decorum as a tool of oppression. Additionally, when the speaker disallowed me to speak, what he was doing is taking away the voices of the 11,000 Montanans who elected me to speak on their behalf. What my constituents in my community did is came here and said, that is our voice in this body. Let her speak. Let her speak. And when the speaker gavelled down the people demanding that democracy work, demanding that their representative be heard, when he gavelled down, what he was doing is driving a nail in the coffin of democracy. But you cannot kill democracy that easily.
You cannot kill democracy that easily.
I cannot express how impressed I am with that woman. She has spoken in that legislature better than anyone else. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.